Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. So today we'll be talking something very important, and it's about Nikki Haley. You all remember the video she did where she was asked about slavery, and she refused to talk on it because she does not want to accept that slavery is a huge part of African American history. You all already know that it is. So Nikki Haley has been running around trying to make up for her interview over what she said. And now she is saying that she has black friends and how can she be racist? And I am asking, why is it that people always come out to say that I have black friends, black this, black that, and for that reason, I cannot be racist? And she is saying that why she did not say that she did not talk about that slavery because she does not want to hurt anybody. And why is it that why do you have to bother about hurting people when you are speaking the truth? I mean, the truth is something you should speak without even having to wait or having to, wonder if you are hurting anybody. Just speak it the way it is. And now it happened that Nikki wants to be on black people's side and does not want to also support black people. You know, these people that will give you a flashlight that I want to support you, but they are not in support of you. They are for white supremacists. Let's get into this video.
Nikki Haley is still trying to dig herself out from under the Civil War controversy. And now she's using the I have black friends trope.
You were asked to explain the cause of the Civil War. You obviously did not mention slavery. And afterwards, you came up, you said that was a mistake. In fact, you said it should have been the first thing that you said. So you did come out and say that. Chris Christie, though, came out and said that you gave that answer not because you're, in his words, dumb or racist, but because you're, quote, unwilling to offend anyone by telling truth. What do you say to that?
No one's ever said that I am unwilling to offend. I offend plenty of people because I call people out when they do something wrong. What I will tell you is Chris Christie is from New Jersey. I should have said slavery right off the bat. But if you grow up in South Carolina, literally in second and third grade, you learn about slavery. You grow up and you have, I had black friends growing up. It is a very talked about thing. We have a big history in South Carolina when it comes to, slavery, when it comes to all the things that happened with the Civil War, all that. I was thinking past slavery.
Nikki Haley just keeps digging herself in deeper and deeper. And I just don't understand the comment that she made in response to Chris Christie's comment. Chris Christie said that she is not dumb or racist, but she doesn't want to offend anyone by telling the truth. Her response to that is Chris Christie is from New Jersey. So what? I'm from Miami, home of the aliens down at Bayside. I'm currently living in Atlanta, and I think that you are unwilling to offend, specifically the MAGA nut jobs. You're unwilling to offend them by telling the truth. And so you venture into using the one thing that a racist will always use. I have black friends. Girl, stop!
So, Legion of Doom member Nikki Haley was on a CNN town hall tonight, and she decided to address her misstep when it came out to speaking about the cause of the Civil War. And she decided to do that by, let me just show you the video.
of course, is referring back to New Hampshire. You were asked to explain the cause of the Civil War. You obviously did not mention slavery. And afterwards, you came up, you said that was a mistake. In fact, you said it should have been the first thing that you said. So you did come out and say that. Chris Christie, though, came out and said that you gave that answer not because you're, in his words, dumb or racist, but because you're, quote, unwilling to offend anyone by telling the truth. What do you say to that?
No one's ever said that I am unwilling to offend. I offend plenty of people because I call people out when they do something wrong. What I will tell you is Chris Christie is from New Jersey. I should have said slavery right off the bat.
Now, Nikki Haley should have cut that answer off right there. And anybody who made a simple mistake would have corrected it by cutting that answer off right there. But did she do that? Oh, hell no. She had to continue.
Jersey. I should have said slavery right off the bat. But if you grow up in South Carolina, literally in second and third grade, you learn about slavery. You grow up and you have, I had black friends growing up. It is a very talked about thing. We have a big history in South Carolina.
Now, why do you all have to have racially charged discussions and then drag black people into it by saying you have black friends? Like that somehow makes what you said any less racist or ignorant. But here's the thing. I do believe that Nikki Haley needs to pick a struggle. She needs to pick a struggle between, are you dumb or are you just an agent of white supremacy? Well, technically, I guess in this case, you could be both.
So conservatives have this thing that they do where they play crazy when it comes to race. I had no idea. How would I know? When really they totally know. And, one of the sort of better politicians at pulling this off is Nimrata Nikki Haley, right? Nikki Haley, former governor of South Carolina. And you sort of have to ask yourself, how did Nimrata Nikki Haley, a woman of Indian extraction, parents, immigrants from India, become governor of South Carolina, of all states? Let's carry us back to 2010. Easy answer. She pandered. And she pandered to, the worst kind of people. The kind of people she knew she'd have to win over to become the Republican nominee and to beat any white, opponent to become governor. She pandered to pro-Confederacy white South Carolinians. Here she is doing that.
What's your belief about the reason the Civil War was fought?
Again, I think that as we look in government, as we watch government, you have different sides. And I think that you see passions on different sides. And I don't think anyone does anything out of hate. I think what they do is they do things out of tradition and out of beliefs of what they believe is right. I think you had one side of the Civil War that was fighting for tradition, and I think you had another side of the Civil War that was fighting for change. At the end of the day, what I think we need to remember is that, everyone is supposed to have their rights. Everyone's supposed to be free. Everyone's supposed to have the same freedoms as anyone else. So, I think it was tradition versus change is the way I see it.
Tradition versus change on what?
On individual rights and liberty of people.
Now, here's the crazy thing. It turns out the guy she was talking to, as CNN illuminated, was a white supremacist. But she's like, white supremacists vote too, so I guess I got to pander to him.
New CNN K-File investigation into Nikki Haley. The South Carolina Republican garnered national attention. You probably remember back in 2015 when she called to remove the Confederate flag from the State House grounds after a white nationalist killed 9 people at a black church in Charleston. But in 2010, Haley, who was running for governor at the time, said the Confederate flag was not racist.
For those groups that come in and say they have issues with the Confederate flag, I will work to talk to them about it. I will work and talk to them about the heritage and how this is not something that is racist. This is something that is a tradition that people feel proud of.
That interview you see there was by a local activist group called the Palmetto Patriots. At one point, candidate Haley said this about South Carolina's Confederate Heritage Month.
The same as you have Black History Month and you have Confederate History Month and all of those, as long as it's done where it is in a positive way and not in a negative way, and it doesn't go to harm anyone, and it goes back to where it focuses on the traditions of the people that are wanting to celebrate it, then I think it's fine.
Let's get some more insights on this reporting from the leader of CNN's K-File team, Andrew Kaczynski. Andrew, what can you tell us about this interview and the group, the Pe0ple Patriots, behind it?
So this interview took place in 2010 when Haley was first running for governor. Now this group, which is now defunct, the Pe0ple Patriots, was formed, according to them, to fight attacks against Southern culture. It appears to have just been a rather small group that was interviewing Haley, just a few people. And CNN was able to learn that one of those interviewers was a board member, an active member of the white nationalist group, the Council of Conservative Citizens. Now, people might remember, but just 5 years later, that same group was reportedly who inspired Dylann Roof to do that shooting at a historically black church in Charleston. And as we remember, that shooting eventually spurred Haley to call for taking down the Confederate flag from the State House grounds. Now, in this interview, we saw Haley offer sympathetic answers on the state's Confederate history. Let's just take a listen to this clip here of what she said about the causes of the Civil War.
You have different sides, and I think that you see passions on different sides, and I don't think anyone does anything out of hate. I think what they do is they do things out of tradition and out of beliefs of what they believe is right. It was tradition versus change is the way I see it.
John?
Tradition versus change is the way I see it. A lot of people would see it differently than that. So she's a presidential candidate now. You reached out to see if they would respond. What'd they say?
So we reached out to her campaign. We asked, did she know that one of the people interviewing her in this small group was a white nationalist? We didn't hear back on that. We didn't hear back on, any of the clips that we've played here. They did send us a statement saying, citing basically what she did with the Confederate flag, saying Nikki Haley's groundbreaking leadership on removing the Confederate flag from the South Carolina Capitol grounds is well known.
It's a question that could come up in the weeks and months ahead as she campaigns in Iowa, New Hampshire.
But then the weird thing about it is he also happened to have been a white supremacist who inspired Dylann Roof, who she later then blamed for being the one to make people think the Confederate flag was about race. Here's that.
Former ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, she went, and she also speculated 2020 VP running mate. She went on with Glenn Beck and floated some conspiracy theories or some potential things about the Confederate flag that could possibly get her some more favor with the base, and how it doesn't relate anything with the Charleston church shooter, Dylann Roof. So let's see what she had to say.
These 12 people were amazing people. They loved their church, they loved their family, they loved their community. And here is this guy that comes out with his manifesto holding the Confederate flag and had just hijacked everything that people thought of. And we don't have hateful people in South Carolina. There's always the small minority that's always going to be there. But, people saw it as service and sacrifice and heritage. But once he did that, there was no way to overcome it. And the national media came in droves. They wanted to define what happened. They wanted to make this about racism. They wanted to make it about gun control. They wanted to make it about death penalty.
So that's weird. Here's the Young Turks bringing out actual clips of Dylann Roof saying why he did it. As it turns out, he didn't need the lamestream media to tell him that the Confederate flag was about race. Here it is.
So Nikki Haley points out that the Confederate flag was about service, sacrifice, and heritage, and Dylann Roof came in and messed that whole thing up. And the crazy national media want to come in and make sure that we were talking about race. Let's hear what old Dylann Roof had to say about race days after he committed the murders and was talking to the FBI.
Why did you have to do it?
Oh, I had to do it.
How come? I mean, that's what I don't know.
Well, I had to do it because somebody had to do something. Because, black people are killing white people every day on the streets. And they rape white women, 100 white women a day. That's an FBI statistic from 2005. That's 10 years ago. It might even be even more now, who knows?
Dylan, when you said you had to do this, because so basically what you're
I had to do it because nobody else is going to do it. Nobody else is brave enough to do anything about it. You know, back in the late 80s and the early 90s, you know, we had skinheads and stuff like that. There's no skinheads left. There's no KKK. KKK never did anything anyway.
So basically, you were trying to make a statement or prove a point on behalf of the white race. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, in a way.
I didn't know Dylan Roof was a part of that national media that wanted to make this about race.
Okay, his whole attack was about race. And Nikki Haley knows all of this, right? But when she gets to New Hampshire and she's trying to beat Donald Trump, she's sort of now the anti-Trump Republican's choice for the better version of a Republican, somebody like their dream candidate. But she, as Chris Christie points out, is too scared to say to white people the actual cause of the Civil War, which again started in the state she was governor of. So ostensibly she knows this history.
She didn't say it because she's a racist, because she's not. I know her well, and I don't believe Nikki has a racist bone in her body. But for purposes of this race, the reason she did it is just as bad, if not worse, and should get everybody concerned about her candidacy. She did it because she's unwilling to offend anyone by telling the truth. And so she isn't willing to say the same things about abortion in New Hampshire that she says in Iowa, because she doesn't want to offend people in Iowa who have a different feeling than people in New Hampshire. But then when she comes to New Hampshire, she doesn't want to offend them either. And she's unwilling to tell the truth about Donald Trump. She says he was the right president for the right time. She says that he should have been given a break after January 6th. She says that for some reason,
So this is all I got from this video, and it's really amazing how people say they don't want to say the truth because they don't want to hurt anybody. You are a liar. You're a liar from the pit of hell. If somebody says, I don't want to say the truth because I don't want to hurt anybody, you do not want to say the truth. You just know the truth and you are hiding it, because when you say you don't want to say it, it means that you have an agenda. There are some people you are siding. And who said that Nikki does not have, she is not ready to the seas and all that? I mean, it's obvious from all we've been saying and all that. I mean, how can a colored person, sorry, not colored, a person of color, she's a person of color, you know, that really understand how slavery is a huge part of African American history, or black people, you know. It is a huge part of their history, you know. And she knew that, but instead of her to speak out, she would rather, the truth is that she does not even want to be on the side of black people or people of color. You all will know that she just wants to be on the other side. That is the white supremacy side. And that is on period. If you remember, there was a video that I covered about her where she's, where she filled out her form on voters card, and she said that she is white, her race is not Indian, because she is an Indian woman. She's Indian American. So I don't see a Nikki Rata, or what is her Nikki, whatever that is, or they call her. So it's really amazing how all of a sudden she does not want to be on the, the good side of history. She wants to be on the other side of history. And we know why she wants to be there. I don't understand how they wake up to do things like this, but it is what it is. Number one is that it's also high time we also know that nobody is really for black people. They can sell, if you are standing with them at this point in time and the other meaning, they can sell their soul not to have anything to do with black people, or not to even be a person of color or something. So you all can see that it is obvious that even the Confederate flag, right, that they were talking about, at some point she was against, at some point she is for it. I mean, you see these people that switches at any given point. I mean, do not even trust them. And I am also not rooting for them to also be ally to black people, because I mean, it's very dangerous. People that will leave you in the middle of the sea, people that will accompany you to the sea, and as you all are crossing and you get to the middle of the sea, you see them, they disappear, they run back. So see you all in my next video. Bye for now.